In the fierce heat of the Battle of Uhud, a brutal act was carried out that shook the Muslim world to its core, the martyrdom of Hazrat Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, the beloved uncle of Prophet Muhammad. But behind this heartbreaking loss was a woman whose name is etched in Islamic history for her role in this tragedy, HIND bint Utba. Once a fierce enemy of Islam, Hind's hatred for the Muslims burned so deeply that she not only orchestrated the killing of Prophet Hamza, but also mutilated his noble body in an act of revenge. Yet, this is not just a story of vengeance, it is also a tale of transformation, redemption, and the unexpected mercy of Islam. Who is HIND bint Utba? What led her to such a gruesome act? And how did her life take a turn no one saw coming? This is the true and powerful story of a woman who went from being one of Islam's fiercest foes, to eventually standing under the banner of the Prophet she once despised. Who is HIND bint Utba? HIND bint Utba was a noblewoman of Quraysh, born into the powerful Banu Abd Shams clan in Mecca. Her father, Utba ibn Rabia, was a respected leader, and her family held great influence in Meccan society. She was married to Abu Sufyan ibn Harb, a chief of the Quraysh and one of the Prophet Muhammad's strongest enemies in the early days of Islam. Hind was intelligent, outspoken, and strong-willed. She had no patience for the new religion that threatened the social structure and idols of Quraysh. Islam, to her, was not only a threat to her culture and beliefs, it was personal. And her rage reached its peak when she lost her father, brother, and uncle in the Battle of Badr at the hands of the Muslims, including Hazrat Hamza. The Battle of Badr, the spark of revenge. In 624 CE, the Muslims achieved a shocking and historic victory at the Battle of Badr. Hind's father, Utba ibn Rabia, her brother, Walid ibn Utba, and her uncle, Shayba ibn Rabia, were all killed by Muslim warriors. Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, the uncle of Prophet Muhammad, personally killed Hind's father and uncle in battle. To Hind, this was a devastating blow, not only to her family but to the pride of the Quraysh. Her grief quickly turned into a burning desire for revenge. From that moment on, her life became consumed by one mission, to see Hazrat Hamza dead, no matter the cost. The Battle of Uhud, a plan for revenge. 1 year later, in 625 CE, the Quraysh regrouped and launched a campaign to avenge their loss at Badr. The result was the Battle of Uhud, where Hind played a chilling role behind the scenes. Before the battle, Hind promised a slave named Washer ibn Harb his freedom if he killed Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib. Washer was a skilled spear thrower, and Hind offered him the ultimate reward for carrying out her plan of vengeance. As the battle raged on, Hamza fought courageously, cutting down enemy after enemy with his sword. But in a moment of opportunity, Washer threw his spear with deadly precision, piercing Hamza's body and killing him. He had fulfilled Hind's wish. What followed was an act so horrifying it still brings tears to the eyes of Muslims to this day. Hind approached the body of Hazrat Hamza, mutilated it by cutting open his chest, and reportedly removed his liver and tried to chew it. This act of brutal revenge was more than symbolic, it was personal, emotional, and filled with hate. The Prophet's grief. When Prophet Muhammad found the body of his beloved uncle, he was overcome with grief. Hamza was not only a protector and warrior for Islam, but he was also the Prophet's close companion and dear family member. Seeing Hamza's body mutilated brought tears to his eyes, and he wept openly. The Prophet Muhammad was deeply saddened but did not allow his pain to push him into the same cycle of revenge. He forbade the Muslims from ever mutilating enemy bodies, even in war. His response showed the difference between the values of Jahiliyyah, pre-Islamic ignorance, and the mercy and justice of Islam. Hind's life after Uhud. After the Battle of Uhud, Hind remained a vocal enemy of Islam for a while. However, as the Muslims grew in strength and more tribes began embracing Islam, the Quraysh realized that the tide was turning. In 630 CE, Prophet Muhammad and his followers entered Mecca peacefully in what became known as the Conquest of Mecca. It was a moment of overwhelming power for the Muslims, yet also one of unmatched mercy. The Prophet announced a general amnesty for most of his former enemies, including Hind. Fearing for her life, Hind veiled herself and approached the Prophet to declare her shahada, testimony of faith. When she was brought before him, she tried to hide her identity. But the Prophet recognized her. She admitted her crimes and pleaded for forgiveness. To her shock, and to the astonishment of many, Prophet Muhammad forgave her. There was no punishment, no revenge, no humiliation. Just mercy. HIND bint Utba was now a Muslim. The very man she had hated, and the religion she had fought so bitterly against, had embraced her with compassion. HIND's transformation. After accepting Islam, HIND underwent a deep transformation. She became a practicing Muslim and took part in the collective efforts of the Muslim community. Historical sources mention her presence in later battles, including the Battle of Yarmouk, where she encouraged the Muslim army to remain strong and fight bravely. Her acceptance of Islam did not erase her past, but it highlighted one of the core teachings of Islam: no soul is beyond redemption. Her story stands as a testament to the power of Allah's mercy and the nobility of the Prophet Muhammad, who forgave a woman responsible for such deep personal pain. Washi's journey to redemption. As for Washer, the man who had killed Hamza, he too eventually accepted Islam. But the guilt of what he had done never left him. He later said, "I killed the best of men in Jahiliyyah, Hamza, and I killed the worst of men in Islam, Musaylima the false prophet," referring to his role in killing the false prophet Musaylima during the Battle of Yamama. Though he became Muslim, Washer lived the rest of his life in sorrow and avoided the eyes of the Prophet Muhammad out of shame. His story, alongside HIND's, shows both the gravity of their past and the hope Islam gives for future redemption. Lessons from HIND's story. 1. Revenge consumes the heart. HIND's hatred led her to commit horrific acts. But her transformation shows how forgiveness and faith can heal even the most broken souls. 2. The mercy of Prophet Muhammad is unmatched. Despite personal loss and pain, he forgave HIND, Washer, and countless others, proving he was indeed a mercy to the worlds. 3. No one is beyond Allah's mercy. HIND's journey proves that Islam is for everyone, no matter how far they've gone in life. 4. The strength of forgiveness. The Prophet's act of forgiving those who hurt him most teaches us that true strength lies not in revenge, but in mercy. The story of HIND bint Utba is one of the most powerful tales in Islamic history. From a woman fueled by hatred and revenge, she transformed into a believer through the mercy of Islam. Her actions at Uhud may never be forgotten, but neither will her acceptance of the truth and her change of heart. Through this story, we learn that even the darkest hearts can find light, if they are willing to seek it.